Hey there, Noodles. I hope y'all are having a good day. Uh, I am. I am doing pretty dang well. Today I actually wanted to talk about a little topic that, if you probably can see by the title, it might be a little confusing. But like, what do you mean by this title? I'll explain here. So I was going on my phone. I was working out today while I was working out, and I usually don't go on social media or anything. I just focus on music when I'm working out because I like concentrating and just really knocking out the workout and doing a little bit high intensity. And I got a notification from Instagram, and I usually don't use a lot of Instagram anymore. I used to be really addicted to it, so when I got a notification, I was like, oh, that's weird. I'm gonna go turn off that notification. But for some reason, social media just has this tie on me, and it just like grabbed me and got me to click on the app, and I opened it, and the first video that popped up. It was one of those videos where like the guy's like, "Yo, stop what you're doing right now. You need to like listen to me." And like I never stop for those videos. I always like swipe past them. I'm pretty sure like all of y'all do, because like 9 times out of 10 those videos are like there for like just like it's usually someone trying to sell something or something like that. So it feels kind of scammy, or like they always end the video with like, but this one, for some reason I decided to stop and listen to it actually, and like actually see what this dude had to say. It sounded kind of genuine, and I'm glad I did, because I don't know, I wouldn't say it really changed my life, but it definitely added some perspective to me. But the guy told a story, and I would tag him in this video, but I don't think the post that I saw was the original creator. So I would have to go find the original creator, and I don't have time for that tonight. So I'm going to reiterate the story in my own way and how I remember it and how it clicked for me, and maybe it'll click for some of y'all. But the story was, okay, so imagine yourself, you went and sat down at a restaurant. It's a nice high class restaurant, okay, and you're starving. You're so hungry, and you a nice waitress walks up, and they're wearing, let's say they're wearing all blue outfit, like a full blue outfit. Okay, this isn't going to really matter. The color doesn't matter. It's just to signify that it's a different type of waiter. So the blue waiter walks up and they're like, "Hey, how are you doing today? Our kitchen's real busy tonight, but we'll have your food out in like 2-3 minutes. We're really quick in this kitchen. No worries at all. We can see that you're super hungry. What food would you like? You can get whatever you want." So you look down at the menu, pick out your favorite food that you wanted. Like they're like, "Okay, it'll be out in like 5 minutes." You're really looking forward to it, right? And then after they walk away, it's been like good 2-3 minutes. Another waiter walks up. Let's say they're wearing like purple. Okay, they're wearing purple, like a full purple outfit, completely different style of waiter. They walk up and like, "Hey, we see you're a first time customer here at this restaurant. You've never been here before?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, I've never been here before. It's my first time." And they're like, "Okay, well, first time customers, they always get a chocolate chip cookie. We have our world renowned chocolate chip cookies. We always give it to them right before they have their meal, just so they can, like, really get their taste buds moving. And, like, it tastes really good. And we promise you it tastes really good. Like, it's very sweet, and it'll really crave your, like, hunger for, while you're waiting for the food from the kitchen." And then he gives you the cookie, and he walks away. And so you're sitting there, you're debating whether you want to eat that cookie or not. And, you know, as you're sitting there, you're after about a couple more minutes, the first waiter walks up and in that blue outfit, and he's like, "Hey, sorry to tell you this. We just got real slammed in the kitchen. It's gonna be a good little bit before your food's ready. Actually, I'm sorry. I told you it was gonna be real quick, but now it's not gonna be quick. You're gonna have to wait a little bit." So now you're looking down at that table after that blue waiter walks away, and you're like, "Man, this cookie's looking really good. I'm really starving. You haven't eaten all day. It's like 12 hours. You just came off a 12-hour shift, let's say, and you haven't eaten all day, and you're really hungry. Okay, so it's really tempting for you to eat this cookie, and you're like, okay, but I really don't want to spoil my appetite, right?" But then as you're really contemplating it, that second waiter comes up in that purple outfit again. He's like, "Hey, I just heard your food's not coming out right away, so here's another cookie. I'm going to give you another one. I haven't seen you haven't eaten your first one. Eat your first one real quick." And he convinces you to eat your first one while you're waiting. He explains the kitchen is kind of backed up. They had someone walk out or something crazy like that. There's some mess up that happened. And so you're like, okay, he convinces you to eat that first cookie, and then he hands you a second one, be like, "Here, this will hold you over till your food actually comes out. It'll be a good 20 minutes or so." Um, and so you're sitting there, you're like, "I don't really want to eat a second cookie though, because like, that's going to fill me up, and I really don't want to just eat cookies tonight. But, it does look really, really good, and I am starving. You already had one. What can a second one really do? Like, it can't really hurt that bad." And you're like, okay, so you just take a bite of that second cookie, and before you know it, you finish it off. And as you're finishing your second cookie, that first waiter in the blue outfit comes up, and she's like, "Hey, I'm really, really sorry. This food's taking so long. It probably is actually going to be another additional 10 minutes on top of what I told you. So you're probably going to be sitting here for another 20 minutes waiting for any food to come out. Um, I'm really sorry about this, but I'll make sure to give you a discount or something at the end of the meal. No worries. So, but just enjoy your time here. Don't leave, please. We really want your business. We're just having some trouble in the kitchen to get your food ready. All right. So right as soon as she walks away, that purple waiter, boom, right back at your table. Bro, I'm so sorry. Here's a third cookie. I'm so sorry. I know you probably don't want this cookie right now, but like, it tastes good. It does taste good. It's not like ideal. It's not like your first choice. It's not like what you actually wanted to come here and eat. You didn't come here expecting a cookie. You didn't come here thinking you wanted a cookie. You knew what you wanted. You wanted that hot dog. You wanted that hamburger. You wanted that nice chef salad, whatever it is, right? You wanted the nice juicy steak, whatever your style of meal that is your favorite meal. Just think of that. And he gives you that third cookie, and you're looking at him. You're like, I don't want this cookie now. You're starting your stomach's starting to feel a little bloated. You got that sweet tooth. You're not really you want something different than a cookie. You've had the same flavor two times already. You're like, hey, is there any, like this cookie is like mid now. It's not really enticing anymore. It's like, come on, man, just eat it. It's gonna be 20 minutes. By the time the food comes out, you'll be hungry again. You're not gonna get too filled up. All right, now you're starting to get the idea about the story. This just keeps repeating. Let's say this happens two, three, four more times, and each time he somehow convinces you to eat that cookie. So you're like 6, 7, 8 cookies deep, right? By the time your food actually comes out, 40 minutes later, that waiter in blue comes out, hands you your plate of food. By then, your stomach's bloated. You're feeling sick. You don't got no appetite anymore. You've just filled up on cookies because you were waiting so long because you were so hungry, and you kind of feel shitty because you like, the food that you actually ordered and wanted 20, 30 minutes ago is sitting in front of you now. And now it just doesn't look as enticing. Like, yeah, it smells really good. It probably tastes really good too. Maybe take a bite here and there, but it's not as satisfying. You don't have that instant gratification of, oh, this is what I needed tonight. This is making me feel so much better, right? Because you're sitting there holding your stomach because you ate cookies, and now your palate is completely destroyed with just brain rot and sugar because that's what you decided to consume in the moment because it was an easy quick fix to the fact that you were starving. But now looking back, you're regretting it because later on you're going to be starving. But and these cookies aren't going to actually fill you up, and they actually were what you wanted, and no one wants to go take home. So like, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of getting upset there. And this is where I'm going to break the illusion here and be like, okay, so that cookie is a temptation. And by temptation, like, I don't mean like in a religious way, but more so like it's something that you may think you like. It's not like actually what you want. It's just something that's gonna like push off the feeling of hunger, push off the feeling of what you actually want in life. Um, and you got to realize that like this illusion like works for all parts of life. So like, let's say you want a big nice house, and that's your goal in life. That's your only goal. But you could also live in a really nice apartment for the next 10 years that you can't really afford, but it's a really nice apartment. You can bring all your friends over there, and it's like, it's not the like most ideal living situation, but you can do so many cool things. Like, it has the best internet, has the best swimming pool on the property. You don't got to take care of anything. You don't got to worry about anything but the apartment. It's not like a big house, but after 10 years there, you look back and you look at your bills, and you're like, man, if I had just saved that $2,000 every month and lived in a really crappy place, or lived with someone that I didn't have to pay rent to, or lived with a family member, or did something more difficult and not as instantly gratifying as living in a really expensive apartment in a hotel, or not a hotel, like a really expensive like community that made you feel good at the time and made you surrounded by people that loved you because, or you thought you loved you because you had fancy things and nice temporarily fancy things. Now if you look back, you don't have anything to show for it. You don't have an apartment. You didn't buy that apartment. You just paid another company so you could temporarily live there. And then you realize you're really going to have to grind another 10, maybe 15 or 20 more years to get that house of your dreams that you always wanted. And this is just one illusion. This could be for anything. Get a car. This could be anything you want in life. That relationship you wanted in life, that friendship, that you know, quite literally anything you want. Like, think of the biggest thing that you want in life, whether it's $1 million or like just to live out in the middle of the woods alone, right? Like, it literally could be anything. Um, But, there's always gonna be that cookie, that proverbial chocolate chip cookie that's, like, sitting there dangling in front of your face. It's like, "Hey, um, you could either do the hard thing and just sit there and be hungry and ignore the pain that you don't have what you want right now, and, you're craving something to fill that void, and you can either sit there and you can decide to take that cookie and temporarily satisfy yourself, or you can sit there and say, "No, I'm gonna wait, and I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep waiting for what I actually want, because what I actually want is better than anything that I could put in my mouth temporarily, or anything I could bring into my life temporarily that won't fill actually any holes or anything that you have." So yeah, it's just like, I don't know if this makes sense as an illusion to you guys or an illustration to you guys, but it really clicked in my brain that, I've been spending a good probably 10 years of my life chasing things that I know weren't really beneficial to me in the long run. They weren't very not really what I wanted to be doing. They were just like, "Oh, this is a distraction from the feeling of pain, the feeling of anger, the feeling of sadness that I have in my life," whether it be taking drugs, whether it be relying like relationships, whether it be friendships, whether it be jobs even, or, trying to get money or trying to get a car. All these little things in life that have just been distracting me from like actually what I want in life. And if someone were to come up to me and ask me, "Hey, what do you want in life? What are you now trying to get?" I would honestly have a hard time answering that question straight up. There's a lot of things I want, but you know, it's more and less so about not what you want, but what you need. Like what, and by need, I mean like not necessities. Like we all need bare necessities and stuff, right? But what we need in life, and like what we all want and desperately need, is like the thing that like makes us feel complete. And you like, I think deep down, if we all took some time and thought about, like, we all know what would make us feel complete, what would all make us feel safe and secure and like happy for the rest of our lives. And what a lot of us, and I think what a good bunch of the world does nowadays, is just try to ignore the fact that they don't have what they have, what they want. And instead of like putting in the work to get what they want, they put in less effort, or they get discouraged, and they give up too easy, or they take a cookie instead and be like, I really want this type of relationship where I get loved for and cared for, and the sex is great and the food's good, and like X, Y, and Z, and maybe they have money too, X, Y, whatever it is that you're actually wanting, you know. But you keep just getting distracting yourself, and in reality, you're never gonna have that relationship if you keep spending your money going out and going to the bar every weekend and bringing a hooker home that you have to pay $300 a night for, or something like that, right? Like you're not gonna, if you had just stayed home that weekend and not spent $100 at the bar and 300 just for someone to spend some fake time with you, or you know going out, and maybe you really want that next console, let's say, right? Maybe bringing this down to a little bit more like less graphic of an idea, and like maybe let's say you want the newest console that's coming out, like a PS5 or something, but you have a PS4 right now, and like you love playing games on that PS4 every night. But if your whole goal in the end is you really don't give a crap about a PS4, right? Because that's not very cool to say you play a PS4 every day. But to have a PS5, that's something you really really want. But let's say every week you get your paycheck and you're like, "Hey, I could buy this $60 game that I've really been wanting to play, that just came out, that has the worst graphics on the PS4, but I could immediately get it. I really want to play it on the PS5, but I don't have money for the PS5 yet, so I'm going to go buy that $60 game for the PS4." And next week comes around, you do the same thing. And you just keep, you never finish those games. You never, let's say you start playing it on the PS4 and it's like, "Oh man, it's just not what I imagined it to be." Because what you imagined was yourself playing that brand new game on the PS5. And since you aren't doing that, it just kind of kills the experience for you. And like maybe a month from now you'll realize that, and like stop spending $60 a week on video games that you actually want to play on the PS5, and you'll actually save up for that PS5. Let's say you do get that PS5 in a couple months, right? And then you go buy that game that you bought months and months ago for your PS4, and you buy it for your PS5, and you pop it in, you're like, "I'm going to have so much fun." And then you pull it up and you're like, "Oh, well, you know, it's not as exciting as you thought it would be, because you kind of already ruined the intro experience for the game, because you played it on shittier graphics on a different console, and maybe you realized you didn't really like the game as much, or you realized, oh wait, the game actually felt and was more fun on shittier graphics. But and so what I'm trying to say there is like, you know sometimes the best things in life come when you wait, and it's really really hard to remind yourself that, especially when there's like multiple cookies sitting in front of your face that are smelling really good. They're like hot and warm, and they're tasty and they look beautiful, but like in the end they're not going to satisfy you. So I guess that's where I'm going to leave you guys and just remind you guys that, like, what you want out of life is coming for you. You just got to like wait for it sometimes, and you really got to work for it and grind for it, and ignore the cookies that are trying to distract you and aren't actually what you want, even though they are like temporarily would satisfy you. Sometimes you got to take a step back and be like, I'm going to push that to a side, and I'm going to have that cookie later. I'm going to get that in my life later, and I'm going to put this other thing that is actually more important to me and my happiness overall first. So yeah, I hope you all have a good night. Hope that made a little sense. Hope you enjoyed my rambling. Uh, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I love y'all. Thank you all for watching. If you watched this far, let me know in the comments below. And like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Have a great night. Goodbye.